Before I can do anything in this world, before I can lead, before I can deliver, before I can take action, before I can be of service and support, I must first do that to myself. It took me some time to really understand that establishing my boundary wasn't so much about rejecting others as much as it was about accepting myself. Okay, today is the third pillar of unreasonable reclamation: boundaries, 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 boundaries. It took me years to get to this place to be able to set boundaries effectively, to do so confidently and courageously. I don't know where it was, but somewhere I subscribed to this consciousness that my value was tied to what I could carry. My value was tied to what I can carry, what weight I could carry, what burdens I could carry, what responsibilities outside of my own I could carry. And here's the truth about me. I love being known as dependable, responsible. I loved being that go-to person, the one that can troubleshoot really quickly, that can solve problems really quickly, because I also love people that show up in my life that are responsible and dependable and all of that. And so I felt that if that's what I wanted in others, then I wanted to do the same thing. And somewhere as a little girl, I made the decision that I was just going to be the best at everything. I was going to be the best. And that meant that I started practicing saying yeses early on to things that took me away from my sacredness, to things that took me away from my sacred territory. Even if I knew in my heart I should say no, because I didn't want to disappoint anyone. I didn't want to let anyone down. I didn't want to be the one that wasn't reliable or dependable. And that the more I carried, the more I demonstrated my reliability, the more I demonstrated my responsibility, the more I demonstrated how valuable I was, the more I demonstrated even my worthiness. And I'm gonna go there, like really. And it took me so long to really rewire my brain and my body to begin to have a different definition of what it means to show up and to be responsible and to be reliable and to be dependable. And I remember when I started first practicing boundaries, oh my Lord, I couldn't sleep at night because if I said no, then guilt would come and be like, see, you let him down. See, you're not showing how reliable you are. See, you're not that go-to person anymore. See, and it would really just shake me to my core, honestly. I struggled with the balance of honoring who I was and honoring those that I loved. And then at some point, I realized that the more I continued to say yes and to honor others, because it was so funny. The more I say yes, the more people just kept taking it. The more they just kept taking it. And then the expectation that would come from that. And so I remember that I realized at some point that I was becoming so fragmented and so broken down while trying to demonstrate loyalty and value to others that I forgot to do it to myself. So I remember one night when guilt showed up talking about, see, you're letting people down. See, you didn't deliver. See, you're not responsible. You're not reliable. Whatever the narrative that I had created. Okay. And I remember just whipping my head and looking at guilt direct in the face. I'm like, okay, hold on. Are you saying that I am not worthy of protecting? Are you saying that this presence that God created is not to be honored? Are you saying that my sacredness is not worth protecting? And I said it out loud, and I remember just like, yeah, nah. Because here's the thing. My boundary, it wasn't even so much my boundary was with others. It was the understanding that the boundary was an agreement with myself first. It was an agreement to really honor me first. Like before I can do anything in this world, before I can lead, before I can deliver, before I can take action, before I can be of service and support, I must first do that to myself. And that the boundedness of the boundary was with me, my heart, my sacredness, my holiness, and needing to really protect that. Protect this call, this charge of who I am in this world. And so it took me some time to do that. I mean, like for real, like it took me some time to really understand that establishing my boundary wasn't so much about rejecting others as much as it was about accepting myself. And so I realized that boundary was less about the other person or the situation, but it was more about the boundedness of myself, with myself, the sacred agreement with myself, the sacred charge to honor myself. So here's what I learned in this journey of setting boundaries. I learned patience. I realized that my yeses were so valuable and that not everyone or everything deserved my yes, but who gets it first is me. Who gets it first is me. My question is always, does this protect me? Does this add to me, my value, right? And that value is like that peace of mind, my calmness, right? That centeredness. That's what I ask. And I call my boundary my covenant to myself, my agreement to myself as well. And so here's what I'm asking you. For every yes you say, what agreement are you breaking? So for every yes that you give out, what agreement to yourself might you be breaking? If you find that you are, I want to invite you to begin practicing that now and being consistent with it. It's not even about that person as much as it is about protecting yourself, protecting your space, and protecting your back.